Hallo, hallo, hallo. Goedenavond. Welcome, welcome everybody. Over there, back. Hello, 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 welcome. There are still empty seats over here and over there and a lot of over there. So please join us. Yes. Hi. Welcome everybody. Welcome to Podcast Zwijgen for this very special evening in collaboration with Interrail. It's all about the art of slow travel by train through Europe. And, you know, a little bit comparable with when you travel by train, you know, a couple of practical issues. Please don't forget to put your phone on silent mode, like in the train, you know. But tonight, don't put it off, because you will need the phone. We will need it in about 10 minutes. You will need to use it. So only silent mode, and have it, you know, inside your reach. So binnen handbereik houden. And we have a photographer, Pia Isa Maria. Pia will stand up. And yeah. And also, like in a train, you know, so she will take some pictures. If you don't want to be in her picture, just wave to her and she will delete the picture. And of course, we will, thank you. Yeah, okay. And language-wise, my name is Bahram Sadeghi, and as you probably can hear, you know, English is not my first language. As a matter of fact, as someone who is born in Iran, born and raised in Iran, and now living in Holland for more than almost 40 years, 4 decades, you know, I have no idea what my first or second or third language is. But as you saw, you laughed, you probably understand what I said. Yeah? Okay, yeah. As a matter of fact, we'll have probably only one native speaker on stage tonight. Again, it's the same as traveling by train in Europe. And the program, we'll have an interview. We start off with the interview with the CEO of Interrail. We will have a panel discussion with 3 members of panel. We will have a quiz, and then you need your phone. And there is also prizes for the quiz. The winner will get a prize. Yes, yes, yes. And finally, what would be a train race would be without food, you know, in Europe, without food. So we will have Chef René Pluim to finish off this evening. Now, you know, probably everything, you know, you should know to start off our journey. I just wonder, you know, maybe you can share your own stories with each other. So that's something what sometimes we do, you know, to get, you know, a little bit of, you know, interaction in the room. So if you will get a little bit of light in the room. So it's all about, as I said, slow travel. So talk with someone who is sitting behind you or next to you, someone whom you don't know. So talk with him, her, that person about what slow travel is. And if you have an experience about that, and believe it or not, it will be a lot of noise, kippenhok. But if you talk like this with each other, you will understand. So start off, talk. Yes, you too, talk, yes. Go on, talk. No. Talk. Are you talking with each other? I'm showing? Oh, great. Yeah.
Metal structures, and this is the back area. All these people with their vans. It's huge. The greenhouse. This is called Viking Race. Shop. This is like a little free room. Stuff. This is like the
makkelijk de microfoon voor je kan houden. Dat je erin kan praten. Ja. Oké, ja. Dus misschien, ja, ergens aan de zijkant, je kan daarna ook daar naartoe gaan. Luister, ik hou je in de gaten. Alleen dit voorlezen, alleen dat. Alleen dat. Alsjeblieft.
Dat goed, hè?
Hier.
Ja, this is like...
No, it's with someone whom you don't know.
We just met. I promise. Philippa went on a slow travel.
Okay. May I have your attention, please? Shh. May I have your attention, please? Especially for the people who came later. Please put your phone, people who just arrived in the room over there. Thank you. Please put your phone on silent mode, but don't shut it off, because you need your phone. You just talk about, your own experience, about slow travel by train, maybe through Europe. Maybe share an experience with each other. I'm going to see whether, those people, you showed each other, some pictures. Yeah. Could you please tell me? Yeah. So you both of you, what did you tell each other? Let's start with you.
Well, so this is a friend from the US. I met when I was in the US. And we met when I came to repair my bike. And we're both into bikepacking. And he's actually on his bikepacking trip from the US right now. And he just arrived earlier. And I took him to the event here. And he was showing me his journey.
Okay. Journey by train or by...
By bike.
By bike, yeah. Okay, by bike, yeah. So, so can I say it's the ultimate way of slow travel?
Yeah, maybe walking. You can get slower than a bike too.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and how about is it common in United States to take train as a way of slow travel?
A train or a bike?
A train.
A train in the U.S. We don't have very good trains in the U.S. for passengers.
I've taken. You can take a train across. I did it in Canada, from Toronto to Vancouver. Yeah. It's like 3 days. Yeah. But it's non-stop. It's like you just go because there's also not much in between.
Okay, but my question was about, United States. And I know that there are some people thinking, United States, Canada, we can take over the country, but we still have a way to go to that. Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. Maybe one more story. Let me see. Because you said you don't know each other. So would you please stand up? Yes. So what did you tell her about your experience?
I've been on a swimming holiday. That's my slow travel.
What does it mean, swimming holiday?
Like you might hike along a coastal path, but instead swim in the sea.
Okay, and which part of Europe did you do?
It was Turkey, so not... but it was lovely. It was really amazing.
Yeah. And do you consider Turkey as Europe?
Depends on who you ask.
Okay, I'm asking you. Yeah. No, because we are talking about Europe. So what's Europe for you?
The part of Istanbul that's in Europe would count as the part of Turkey that's in Europe.
Very political correct answer. Thank you. Okay. Yeah. Wait.
Mag ik Nederlands doen?
Ja, je mag het zeker Nederlands.
Hi, naast mij zit Bart, heel toevallig. En binnenkort heb ik vakantie. Ik werk op school, ROC van Amsterdam en Flevoland. Ik dacht, ik ga treinreis doen. Meestal ga ik all-inclusive naar Antalya, naar Turkije. En naast mij, vandaag komt het zo goed uit dat ik hier ben. Ik wil echt alles weten, maar ik wil naar Zwitserland. Met de trein. Echt, dat is echt mijn...
En hier zijn ook mensen van Zwitserland Toerisme aanwezig, dus dat komt heel goed uit.
Okay, because I don't wish to exclude non-speaking Dutch. She just said, she's working as a teacher on school. So now we will have, school holidays, and she would like to have, her first, big train vacation. So, and especially going to Switzerland. And thank God there are people from Swiss tourism over there, so I can link you up with them. Just before we started, someone, told me, believe it or not, there is someone with a poem over there. I don't know what it is, but he said, just give me just 20 seconds and he will recite the poem for you. So please pay attention. I will come here and I will hold the microphone.
I travel about 20 years and in all the world. And this is my poem. Share. Should we travel together? I am yours, you are mine. You mind the step, I find the way. You choose the bar, I care the wine. I change the money, you spend it quickly. Just be together, pray for a beautiful day.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Now your poem called Share, you share the story with each other, so in order to show, our gratitude for that, so underneath your chairs, there are 5 Interrail passes. So you shared your story, you get 5 Interrail passes. So, yes, just feel, yes, one year, yes, please stand up, By the way, this is only for the people who are not working for Interrail. Yes, because you have your own privilege. So, we got one. We got one more. It's like, another one over there. Okay, would you please stand up? So, because I want to see 5 faces. 1, 2, 3. And we hebben nog 2. 4. Stand up, please stand up. One more. 5. And so 5. 1, 2, over there. Okay, so please stand up, all of you. Thank you. By the way, so when we are done, you go to Isa. She will tell you about how to exercise, your price. Okay, Isa, so it's for you later. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, may I have your attention, please? Okay, let's start with, I'm sure you all know what Interrail is, but for the 2 or 3 people, among us who don't know that, I would like to have the CEO of Interrail here with me, Carlo Boselli. Carlo, would you please? Yes. Carlo, let's start, the same question I asked him, to tell, about their most memorable, slow travel or maybe your first train journey, so we can understand, your love, your passion for Interrail and for train. Personal question.
Oh, I would have preferred to have this was last question. So
it's a holistic,
It's holistic. Okay, we start. Okay, so my first Interrail was when I was 13 years old. So it was 44 years ago. I'm 57, and it started by staying with my brother in Italy, and then suggesting that I would be interrailing, and agreeing with him that we would just tell to my parents that were in Brussels that we were together. So I had to reassure my parents. I'm calling them every day. I'm with my brother, but actually I wasn't. So I was just traveling on my own.
On your own, when you were 13 years old?
13.
Wow, my God.
But it was a different freedom, I must say.
Wow. And which
but you need to reassure the parents. Huh? That's very important.
That's
so every time, 8 o'clock, dinner time. Everything is fine. I'm with my brother. We are enjoying. Everything is fine. And then I was traveling.
Good, good. Thank you for sharing this story with us. So what does Interrail represent to you? Next to the fact that that's a great, travel product. What is it? Maybe on a higher level.
Well, what I really appreciate of Interrail is the social aspect. I think that it's very difficult by Interrailing not to meet other people. So you are going to meet other people, and that makes this experience, a social experience, quite unique. And I think that this is also a bit of the heritage that we bring with us, because originally Interrail allowed many youngsters for the first time ever to travel across Europe and to learn about other culture, to be open to others.
Yeah.
And this made also, actually, there is a book which is called Backpack Ambassadors that shows how much Interrail contributed to opening to other culture, and that many countries who were not part of the European Union then were asked to vote, and actually the people were previously Interrailers. Yeah. And this is what is proved by this book, Backpack Ambassador. Yeah. So I think that this opening to other culture and being, so having small connection, friction to, let's say, avoid larger conflict, this is what I like the most about the product. Yeah.
And, what's right now, as I said, we gave people, 5 passes, and during the evening, you will get more passes. You have more passes to give away. Yes, yeah. So, but how does it work in general nowadays? What's the story? Practical, Interrail. If you want to tell people, that's how it works. Interrail nowadays.
So Interrail is basically a ticket now, a digital ticket. We managed to convince all the railways to move to a digital solution, and basically it allows to travel across Europe in 33 countries. And it covers 30,000 stations, and it works. It has two ways. One is that you buy a continuous pass, which allows you to travel continuously every day, basically, for, I don't know, 1 month, for instance. And then the other one is called FlexiPass, and then you have the possibility to choose when to travel within 1 month, like 7 days within 1 month. You stay in a city, and then you don't travel, and then you decide to travel. You activate the day, and it's based on the time that you spend. So you take a day, and then you can travel unlimitedly that day.
Yeah. Do you have any idea, which option is most popular one?
The FlexiPass, the shorter validities, which give more flexibility. So this is certainly the most popular one.
Yeah, and what's the more value of Interrail? What makes it unique comparing with other travel options? How does it increase, the European experience, feeling European, as I said, comparing to other options?
Yeah, I think that what makes it unique, the product is, again, aside from being sustainable, clearly, and allowing for slow travel, but it has this social dimension which is crucial. And in addition, there is a kind of component which I feel is not only for youngsters, which is more the learning, or I would say even for seniors, you can. I'm always thinking about the Brexit, that in that case, if people from the countryside, being seniors, would have traveled with Interrail, probably they would have voted to stay within the European Union. What I mean is that in general, the more you travel, the more you are open to others, the less you travel, and in that component is really crucial. And this social aspect and this learning aspect, also learning about ourselves, is a key component of the product. And that's why even the European Commission decided to take Interrail as officially as an informal learning tool.
Oh, really?
Yes. Okay. It's really it's treated by the European Commission as a learning tool. Yeah. So it is for youngsters. So there is this Discover You project which allows youngsters to travel across Europe.
Yeah, one of our panel members will tell us more about that. Discover Europe. Thank you. Yeah.
And it has an impact on your personal abilities to be open to others, to be more entrepreneurial, to be, all these kind of soft skills, and actually to have this small friction by connecting with others that are crucial. Yeah. Because we have today much less friction, which is a problem.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay, cool. I wonder, whether one of our members of panel, Monisha, can reflect on that point, that issue you said, if Brexit would be an issue or not, if they could travel more or not. But we will hear that in 50 minutes, and until that time, thank you very much for being with us and making this evening,
Thank you.
Thank you. Please. Now, please, all your phones, take your phones, please, yes, because we are going to use the phones, yeah. And yes, okay, our quiz master is here. Give Hugo van Vondelen a big hand, okay. Product specialist at Interrail. No,
product specialist.
Yeah. Well,
right.
What is that? And for you, please go all to menti.com. And you can see the way, John, menti.com, use the, so go over there so we can start the quiz. And so you will have still 1 minute to do that. So tell us something about your own background regarding to traveling.
I traveled since I was 18 years old through Europe. So traveling is my life. Interrailing is my life. That's why I work for Interrail. Interrail, actually.
And what does it mean, product specialist?
I need to know everything about all the trains in Europe. So all the reservations, timetable, how the trains look like, sleeper trains.
Okay.
What kind of seats,
okay.
Stuff like that.
Okay, so let's see whether are there people who are not done yet, not ready yet. Please raise your hand, 1 or 2, because there is always, 1 or 2 people that cannot log in. In that case, because there is just one, and over there, someone else, yeah. Can I ask you for a favor to? Is it still? You are still busy? Excuse me? Yeah? Yeah, can you please, kan je misschien met iemand anders meedoen? Yeah, so would you please, yes, next to each other, yes, it's all about sharing, yes, yeah. Okay, let's start the quiz.
Yes, let's start the quiz.
We are going to do it.
So, question 1, I can't really... we already have question 1, or don't we?
Hebben we vraag 1 gezien? Komt die nu? Okay, now question 1 is coming now.
Right. How many trains can you potentially visit with the Interrail Euro Pass? How many stations? Sorry. Oh, should I go to the side? Should I dive?
Helemaal dit kant? Ja.
Maybe here?
Yeah.
Maybe here?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Go on.
So, Interrail or Eurail is for all ages. True or false? All ages, yes or no? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Dat kan iedereen zien, ja.
Okay. All right, let's go to the next question, which is, when was Discover EU launched, the project of the EU to provide 80-year-old European citizens with the Europass? So in which year?
Oh my God.
All right, next question is, where can we find Europe's oldest city? Europe's oldest city, where can we find it? Which country?
Helemaal Bulgaria and Italy?
Surprising. Speaking about Bulgaria, let's go. Let's talk about its culinary specialties. What is lutenica? So is it dumplings, is it sheep's cheese, sausage, or is it a spicy tapenade?
What?
Very spread out.
What? Heel moeilijk, heel moeilijk.
So, question number 6 is, in which country can you still get draft beer on dining cars? Is it Germany, Poland, Czech Republic, or Austria? Well done. People know.
Almost there, almost there.
Question 7 about pierogi is a must-try food in the dining cars on board long-distance trains in Poland. What does the word pierogi mean? Dumplings, folded dough, pastry, or delicious? Wow. Who is Polish? Raise your hand. All right. Is it true? Okay.
Final?
So, true or false? Live snails must have a ticket to ride a high-speed train in France. So, if you're a snail, do you need a ticket in France? Yes or no? You must be alive as a snail. That's the nuance. Wow. Question number 9.
Final.
One of the best trains in Europe is called the Corona, going from Budapest to Brasov. What does Corona mean in Hungarian? Is it mountain, crown? Is it a reference to the pandemic? Or is it a synonym of Transylvania? Wow. All right. So now,
Timo, who are you? Timo. Come here, Timo. Come here, Timo. Come on, Timo. Here on stage, yeah. But if you have any questions, Hugo, or I can ask you. But come here. How come you know so much about this stuff?
I guess because I'm Swiss, and because I'm a clever thick, klugscheißer.
Okay.
I always know it better.
Okay. I just saw you, take a sip of your wine. Is it booze talking?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe, yeah. Okay. You know, the wine gives me the ability to stay calm for these questions.
Cool. And so now you get 2 passes, Really? So yeah. So that's the phase. So you have to go to her, when you are finished. And is there a special someone whom you can do your... They want to go. So you want to do this journey with someone else?
Yeah, actually with 2 people, but one doesn't need a pass because he's 4 weeks old. So it's my wife and our baby.
Cool, great story. Thank you. Do you go back? Thank you. Yeah, thank you. And we hope, we will see you, let's say, in about 45 minutes with the second round of the quiz. And then again, 2 passes to give away. Okay, someone is saying it went quite fast. Unfortunately, we cannot do anything. It's all about slow travel. but the quiz goes quite fast. You know, we cannot do anything about that. I'm sure. Nevertheless, please keep, you know, answering, even if your first or second or third answer is wrong. Just keep going on because, you know, you never know. On that note, we'll sit over here. And I would like to ask 3 people to join me here, Niala, Bart, and Monisha, and I will introduce to them for the next 25 minutes. Please join me. Niala over here. Niala Nauwela is a student at the Vrije Universiteit in Brussels, and she participated in Discover EU, so you have to tell us about that. And Bart Giepmans, author of Perron Europa, and Perron Europa deel 2 ook. Yes. Yeah, part 2. Yeah, a journalist and a leading voice in train and slow travel, and also founder of the travel platform Rail Tripping. And by the way, I just heard that we can people can buy your book after this session. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. We have a small number of books.
Yeah, and Monisha Rajesh, author, journalist, and you know, you can find her, you know, in Time magazine, Vanity Fair, New York Times, and around the world in 80 trains. 2019 won the National Geographic Travel Book of the Year and was shortlisted for the Stanford Dolman Award. Very glad to have you here as well. And so, when did you arrive here in Amsterdam, and how? Yeah, just, you know, well, you never know. You know, just ask, you know, yeah.
Obviously, I came by train.
By train,
from King's Cross, St Pancras. I got in the afternoon. Again, on the Eurostar, it was delayed, but it's okay because it's slow travel, and that's the whole reason that we're here.
They took it to the next level. Yeah,
yeah, it did.
Yeah,
it's good.
Yeah, and Monisha, have you always been a fan of slow travel, you know, or did it come later? Did it come later? I mean, yeah.
I'm going to start with talking about my love of trains.
Yeah.
Because it is something that I'm asked all the time.
Yeah.
You know, did you have a childhood that involved train journeys? Did you have parents who were railroaders? And I was none of these things. I didn't grow up near trains. I didn't have anything about trains in my life. But when I was probably about, I think I was 28, I decided that I wanted to go to India, which is where my parents are from, and spend 4 or 5 months traveling around the country, getting to know it as a tourist. I didn't want to go and see family. I didn't want to stay with cousins. I didn't want to go to anyone's wedding. I just wanted to travel. I wanted to just travel around and do all the tourist things. I wanted to see the Taj Mahal. I wanted to go to Kerala. I wanted to go to Goa. I wanted to see the tea estates in Assam. And secondary to that were the trains. I realized that the easiest and cheapest and I guess just the most efficient way of getting around the country was by buying an Indian rail pass. And back in 2010, when I did this, there was a 90-day Interrail pass that foreign tourists could get, and it cost me $540 for 3 months. And that included all my sleeper trains, second class, bearing in mind there are 8 classes on Indian trains, and it included all my food. And it was really a means to an end, using the trains to get around India. And after probably about 2 weeks, I realized that the trains were actually the protagonist of my story. The trains, each one was like a different character. Each one had a personality. Each one had different kinds of passengers, different food, and moved in a different way.
And it made your first book, am I right?
And that was my first. It ended up being my first book. I didn't go out with a publisher. I didn't have an agent. I didn't have any of that. But
wow.
I just blogged along the way. And my housemate had set up a website, 80trains.com, just to kind of give me some focus.
Yeah.
And it ended up becoming a book around India and 80 trains. And it was only really when I came back to the UK that I realized that trains had, I mean, they had really seeped into me and into my bones and into my hair and into my skin. And everywhere I went after that, I'd hear a hoot and think, oh, there's a train somewhere. Where is it? Where is it? I need to get on it. And it just became part of how I traveled. I didn't really think about the fact that I was now into trains, but that's where it came from. And I guess that was slow travel. That was 4 months of learning about people via railways. So I suppose without knowing it was slow travel, it was.
Yeah. And but how about you? What's your maybe comparable story with this? You know, your love of train. How did it start?
It started in the Netherlands when my dad gave me a subscription for the NS, an NS-jaarkaart at that time, when I was 12 or so. And I also explored at a very young age, well, not interrailing at 13 like Carlo, but discovering the Netherlands, at least it was also a challenge at that age. Yeah. And the first real international journey I did, that was not Interrail, but that was just after I finished high school in the 90s. The German Railways launched a ticket which was called the Schönes Wochenende ticket. And we lived close to the German border. And
which city?
Between Helmond and Venlo, a small village. Okay. And no, we were more focused on Germany and Belgium. Okay. And it was also before the time that Eindhoven Airport became big, of course. So that was probably why we were lucky.
They have an airport in Eindhoven?
In Eindhoven they have an airport.
My God!
I never use it, but no. At that time, at that time, the what you do? Okay. From Belgium, it's easier. It's very easy. At that time, they launched a ticket which was called the Schönes Wochenende ticket, and for an incredibly low amount of 35 marks. And that is about 17 euros. You could travel.
We are talking about marks. So
marks, that was in the 90s. That was in the 90s, a long time ago.
I will tell you about that. DVD, marks,
exactly.
Wham. Yes,
It was before internet, before the real, the travel planners and so on. I had to call to the German railways in Utrecht, to the office, to ask for the train connections. And there was a lady working there, a job that I later did, 10 years later. And she was giving me all the connections by phone. But no, just to cut this short, the thing was, for 17 euros, you could travel with 5 people, 2 days, unlimited in the whole of Germany. So what I did with my friends, we boarded in Kaldenkirchen. We had to take the first train at 6 o'clock. And then we took all the slow trains, all the way through Germany to the Austrian Alps in 1 day. And of course we didn't make it because you had to change 6 times or 7 times. But that was the real adventure. And we saw the Dome of Cologne for the first time. It was amazing.
Wow.
I saw we were passing all the small villages at the along the Rhine Valley, the vineyards and so on. So for me, that was the first real experience of slow travel. And the good news is, it's different than Interrail, but it's still possible because for the same price, you can still travel to Germany with public transport.
Cool. And Nihala, Discover EU program. What is that, and can we consider that as slow travel as well? So 2 questions. So in the microphone, please.
All right. So the Discover EU program is a program that started in 2018, which was the first year and also the year that I participated in this competition. And it's set up for 18-year-olds, Europeans, to join this competition. They answer a bunch of questions, and then they potentially win an Interrail pass to travel around their own continent. And that way they can experience European culture, just meet people from a bunch of other countries. And Carlo touched upon this beforehand as well, but I think it's very important for young Europeans to, do a journey like that and just broaden their horizons and meet people from different places.
And you are from, you live in Mechelen?
Yes, I'm from Belgium.
From Belgium. And how did you come here today?
By train, of course.
By train,
And how did You're not going to catch me come by car now.
Okay, and how did it go?
Well,
No delays?
Nothing happened. No, actually, a month ago, I went to the Eurail office in Utrecht, and then one of the trains got cancelled. Yes.
You physically went to the office?
Yeah.
Physically.
Yes, actually.
Yes, cool.
But today, nothing happened.
But
I like to add about, you mentioned delays. I arrived from Berlin yesterday, and I took the train at 5:38, but I arrived punctually in Helmond in the Netherlands.
Cool.
So,
Wow. I like that.
And
Wow.
I have to say that. Okay. So there's a lot of complaints about German railway, but it sometimes does work.
Yes, okay. You know, Manisha, you know, I only had the chance, you know, opportunity to read your final book and your most recent book, great book. And now I know, you know, you have done this, you know, traveling by train, you know, slow travel in a lot of countries, continents. And could you please tell us about, you know, what struck you most about train travel in Europe compared to other countries / continents?
Well, the first time I traveled around Europe was in 2015, when I did 8 months of travel for Around the World in 80 Trains, which was the follow-up. But back then, there was only one sleeper train. So the reason I'm talking about sleeper trains is because my next book, Moonlight Express, is all about the resurgence in sleeper trains. But back then, there was just one, and it was from Madrid to Lisbon. And it was an absolutely horrific experience of sitting upright, having a torch in my eyes at 4 o'clock in the morning when we crossed the border, crick neck, didn't sleep. And I remember thinking, this is awful. And so when I realized that slowly they'd all been phased out, I could see why. But at that time, I had a Eurail pass, actually, and I sped around in 28 days, and I was gone, because at that point, I found that all the high-speed trains had just stopped people from chatting to each other. They were quite confined in their own spaces. They wanted to just do their own thing. It was very quiet on board. I had to really make an effort to try and chat to people, almost kind of following them and hovering in the vestibule, lingering and like a bit of a weirdo trying to break the ice and make conversation. But I find that that's changed. And over the last 4 years, I've been traveling solely by sleeper train to document what's been happening with night train travel.
Not solely.
Well, not solely.
Sometimes with your daughter.
Oh no, but all on night trains. I've travelled with my children as well, but all on night trains.
Oh,
everything's been night train travel.
Okay. Excuse me.
And it's changed. The way that people interact with each other has absolutely, I would like to say, evolved. It's better. People are much more open to conversation. People are still travelling in mixed couchettes, even though in Scandinavia much less so. And there's quite a lot of restrictions placed on people sharing compartments with each other. But I found people are more open to conversation. They're a lot more chatty. They're just more willing to basically become what I would call a train family. So when you get on board, you just gel together and become a community. And I really see that having changed since the pandemic. I think because we were all so pulled apart and we were isolated, people really reached out for one another. And I think that tied in with train travel having its resurgence. Because I know that Interrail had one of its best years in 2022 and then again in 2023.
Yeah.
And I think all of that ties in with people wanting to find each other.
Yeah. But how about you? Can you add something to this about this special feature of, you know, European slow travel? You know, what makes it unique to do that in Europe?
Well, I cannot really compare
of course,
outside Europe.
Yeah,
because, well, I did travel.
Nevertheless, the things that stand out for you.
Yes. Well, what you said about that people are more willing to chat, I also see that especially in sleeper trains and especially I prefer always the 4 seats, especially in second class. You have that, and I can give an example. One of my last journeys to Slovakia. That was in May last year, and I was traveling with a German friend. He grew up in the GDR, and we were seated next to an older man sipping a beer, and he heard we were from Germany, and he was asking, okay, where are you from? And then a discussion just started about capitalism and about that the former DDR was not so bad, and I mean, okay. In the end, he said to us, but now we have problems because our country is divided. Unser Land ist gespalten, did he say? And he was very worried because he said, okay, half of it is very traditional, half of it is very pro-European. And I could read the concern in his eyes. And 3 days later, we were just walking through Košice, and then the Prime Minister Robert Fico was shot, and that
of Slovakia.
Yes, in Slovakia. So for me, that really showed, okay, you can really experience the sentiment or what is really going on in people's mind
in the train.
In a train ride, because that was on the train ride 3 days before this attack. And that really changed, well, my view also on the country.
Niala, it's a question for 3 of you, but I started with, maybe related to this conversation we had, how do you think that train travel can contribute to a understanding or maybe deeper understanding of Europe as a whole? Especially, for you as someone who lives in the maybe you can say center of Europe, in a way, Belgium,
I think the whole slow traveling aspect can really help us to understand how so many European countries are still very connected, but also different. Like, when you're traveling by train, you can notice how the landscape changes and how architecture changes. You cross a border and suddenly the announcements will be in a different language, but you realize that, you understand that these changes are happening because you've been sitting on the train for hours and looking out of the window, which I think is a very nice feeling and can give you a better understanding on how cultures are similar but also different, how they change along the way, which you don't experience when you are taking Ryanair flights to everywhere and just stay for 2 days, for example.
Yes, and I think the advantage, of course, of slow travel is that you have the time to meet these people and have a good conversation. I mean, on a very short haul flight from 1 hour, of course, how often do you really speak to your neighbors? And what is also a big advantage of the train, of course, is that you can sit opposite of each other. Like I said, the 4 seats, of course. If you really don't want to communicate, you go and sit next to each other. But if you really want to, if you are open for a conversation, if you really want to get in touch with locals, a cabin for 6 or a 4-seater is very preferable.
Same question for you, and maybe a little bit, going back to what Carlos said, maybe it was just when he zoomed out, about Brexit, So when we are talking about, whole Europe, better understanding of Europe by traveling by train, Could you please elaborate on that? I don't know whether my question was quite nice.
No.
I
get it absolutely. I mean, the B words makes my cortisol levels rise. It stresses me so much because I absolutely did not vote for Brexit, and I still hate every single person who did. But I feel it. It's a physical feeling when you're straight into that hideous non-Europeans queue, and when you're suddenly every bit of your passport is being stamped, which I didn't have to deal with before, and it's just caused so much. And what he was saying was not untrue. That the people, so many people I've spoken to who voted for Brexit. I mean, the fact that the most Google question the next day was "What is Brexit?" or "What is the European Union?" tells you everything about that very insular mentality. But going back to the question of what you get from traveling around Europe, I've had a whole brand new perspective because just 3 weeks ago, I took my 2 daughters who are 8 and 5 interrailing. Maya and Ariel. Yes. Ariel, We went on an Interrail pass, and they travel for free because under 10, I think it is 10 and under, they travel for free.
No, so Carlo, what's the age when you can say the travel?
Do you know?
Okay.
Is it 12? Is it 12? Okay.
Okay, cool.
Sorry, I stand corrected. Cool. But they're 8 and 5, so they were travelling for free. Yeah. So the 3 of us went together, and we went from London to Paris to Vienna. And of course, because it was all about the sleeper trains for me, we took one of the night jets, new generation trains, from Vienna to Rome. Then we went around Italy. We went across to the French Riviera. Then we took one of the Intercité de Nuit from Nice up to Paris and then back home. So it was 10 days with them. And they've done a couple of night trains with me before over the last few years, but not such a huge chunk. But what was so interesting for me to watch was the way in which they interacted with people on board. Children are a really lovely way of breaking the ice and making conversation. And wherever we went, it was amazing to me to watch them looking out of the window, making notes. I bought them each a diary in Florence. They learnt to marble paper and they got diaries and pens and they made notes. They looked out of the window, they saw what was happening. And they did exactly what you were saying. They said, you know, this has changed. Look, there's the lavender that we saw in the perfume shop when we were then going through Provence. And they picked up on language, which was amazing to me to see, because they only speak English, and at school they haven't quite started learning French and Spanish yet. But they started to tune in and they asked me, because I did French at university, so I tried to speak to them in French, and they wanted to know more, because everywhere we stopped, people were chattering to them in French, and they said, talk to us in French. Talk to us in French, let us understand. So I said, fine. So for 2 days, I just spoke to them in French. And then when we crossed over and we were in Italy...
Spoke with your own daughters in French?
And they picked it up. They were listening. They were tuning in to what other children were saying in the playgrounds, and they were understanding what was going on. And they said, this means this. And in Italy, it sounds a bit like this, but it's not quite. And I realized that 10 days alone had taken their school education from here to here. While we were away, a very quick story, when we were in Nice, we met a family from the US who don't take... Oh, there they are. That's them in the new generation night jet boarding in Vienna.
Yeah.
This family didn't have a home. They had decided to give up their home. They'd moved all their furniture into the grandparents' house in Texas, and they traveled with their kids wherever they... Just everything. The dad had conferences all over the place. He worked in tech. The children were homeschooled, and they hadn't had a schooling for 2.5 years. They were 9 and 6. And he just said, this is the best education I can give them, traveling around Europe. He said they've picked up languages, they're reading as they go along, they're seeing people, they're learning different cultural nuances. And he said, this is better than any education I can give them in the US right now. And they traveled around by train.
Wow,
and
great.
I really felt that.
Cool. I just have 2 questions for you, and we have a couple of minutes for questions from the audience. So if you have any questions for them, especially the question, a sentence with a question mark, you can ask them. You mentioned it a couple of times, and even in your book, I read, it's, kind of, I don't know how to say that without getting very offensive, is, slow travel, especially slow travel in Europe by train, is it not something especially for happy few? Since it's very expensive, and comparing to other ways of traveling, and it takes a lot of time. And as I said, it's not something that I, made up. I read it between the lines in your book, and you all mentioned that. You said it was very cheap to do that. So the price is an important factor.
Yes, it is an important factor, but I think it is still affordable.
So this is still affordable.
Yes. Also, the Interrail passes. Yeah. Especially, of course, the longer validities. But I mean, it's. Okay, cool. I don't agree. It's only for the happy few.
I'm just asking questions. Same for you and same for you. Please reflect on that issue. For happy few or not.
Well, I thought about this when it comes to the Discover EU pass, for example.
Yeah.
Winning a pass like that as an 18-year-old is such a crazy opportunity because you don't really have money.
How much does it cost? Do you know? Do you have an idea?
Hugo?
Can someone Google it? Google it, please. Google. Do you know that? How much?
Around 200.
Around 200 euros.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So, when you're in high school, maybe you have a student job, you do something over the weekend, or you get some pocket money every month, but
200 euros is a lot of money for you.
It definitely can be. So I think Discover EU for 18-year-olds, also in that sense, is very good and very beneficial. Yeah. And it can allow certain people who maybe might not ever leave their town to actually go on a trip around the continent.
Horizon. Yeah. For you, the same question. What's your ideas about slow travel by train in Europe for happy few or not?
I if I'm hugely honest about it, I think it is still too expensive for the majority.
Yeah.
Having still, you know, for everything that I do, I pay my way for my books, because then I can write honestly about how I feel about the trains, the prices, the conditions of them. Most people have told me that as a family, it's too expensive for them to travel around Europe by train. And I did a trip from London to Barcelona. Because I was writing about it, I paid for all my tickets. We went from London to Paris on the Eurostar. We took a night train from Paris down to the south, crossed over the border, and then ended up in Barcelona. And in total, for the 4 of us, it was around 850 euros for just the one leg.
Oh, one leg.
One leg. And EasyJet coming back was £47 each. So I can absolutely understand why people will look at it, because the issue is school holidays, everything just rockets.
Yep.
And so I can't berate people who will say, look, do you know what, I only have 5 days or a week. I'm just going to fly across and enjoy that specific time. But and what I've seen over the last 4 years is there is a very specific demographic of people who are able to do this slow travel. They are families who've got time, and wealthier families, middle-class families, but there are also retirees who've saved up, and now they've got that time, and they've got, you know, the funds to be able to do it. And everyone I spoke to said, if this was cheaper, we would do it all the time. We want to. We don't want to fly. We don't like the hassle. We don't want to go to airports. But it's just that little bit too expensive for us.
Yeah, yeah. Final question, you know, as I said, you know, reading your book, you know, a couple of times, you know, between the lines, you know, I thought, you know, I never thought about that, you know, to travel, you know, when I went traveling alone. But how, is it safe? Is it good enough, you know, for women traveling alone, you know, in, you know, for example, sleeper trains or, you know, long distance trains, a slow train, you know? You know, for us, you know, to be honest, you know, for males, you know, we never think about that, you know, but I thought, you know, maybe could you add something to this, you know, as you did a lot of travel, how do you see that aspect?
My Interrail trip when I was 18 was actually my first solo trip that kicked off my gap year, during which I traveled alone for the whole year, actually, yeah.
God.
And the whole thing about that women shouldn't travel by themselves, it's not true. Don't listen to it, please. Just do it. If you want to do it, just do it.
Cool.
Sure, maybe there are some things you will consider more than maybe men, like if you want to take precautions, like check the train times, that you're not arriving in the middle of the night at your destination, or then take a taxi from the station to your hotel or hostel. It shouldn't, just because you're a woman, it shouldn't stop you.
Good. Final answer for you, please.
Yeah, I've traveled by myself quite a lot, but equally I also travel with lots of different people, and with my new book I actually have someone different from every chapter. Because, and it was very deliberate as well, because the kind of person you choose when you travel with completely changes the dynamic of your trip and the way you interact with other people. So I signed all my trains accordingly to the kind of person I knew I was with. But when I was doing this Interrail trip with the kids, I did book into the women's only couchette compartment, just for, to be honest, for the other person rather than the kids. But there was one occasion where I was in the women-only compartment with my daughter, and a woman had her husband get on in Toulon and sleep in the bottom. And my 4-year-old started crying, and she was stressed out, she was upset, she was quite frightened by it. So after that I thought, do you know what, there is that option. I mean, I would normally just travel in mixed couchettes, it doesn't worry me, but there is usually a women's only compartment. You can opt to travel during the day, you don't have to travel at night. There are little things that you can tweak here and there, but like you were saying, I would absolutely not travel just because I'm a woman, or
don't limit
avoid
yourself.
certain routes.
Excuse me?
Don't limit yourself.
Don't limit yourself.
Definitely
Thank you. Thank you for adding that. So, as I said, we have room for a couple of questions. So, 3 speakers, if you have any questions. If not, yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. Please stand up. Okay. Ik hou vast.
Oh, yeah, sure. Thank you all for your contributions. Regarding the cost aspect,
I've traveled in many places, including most of Europe, United States, and Turkey. And I found that they use in Turkey the same trains as in Germany, like the ICs, the fast trains.
Really
and it's 10 times cheaper than in Germany. It's like 18 euros for a business class trip from Istanbul to Ankara.
I was literally thinking of that train when you said Turkey.
Yeah, so isn't it exemplary on how extortionate the European businesses in the trains are? Like, it's not a commons, it's just a way to tax peasants even more.
Cool. Yeah. Because you did a big journey from Istanbul to Kars, I guess, close to Armenian.
I did exactly that. So, in fact, I literally wrote a paragraph about that when I went from Istanbul to Ankara and then Ankara to Kars in the northeast, just on the border of Armenia. I was taken on board the high-speed trains by one of the drivers. A driver had reached out to me on Twitter and said, if you ever come to Turkey, you have a brother in Turkey and I will take you on the train. So I wrote to him and I said, I'm coming. And he came to meet me at the station and they took us on board the trains and they were beautiful. They were so slick, they were clean. They were like business class airlines. And like you say, they were about 10 times cheaper than any other train of the equivalent. And it was a 5-hour journey and it was about 30 euros, I think, 37 euros. And I remember thinking, why are we paying £180 in the UK to get from London to Manchester in 2.5 hours, if we even get there? Or delayed, cancelled, rail replacement bus service. And yeah, I did. I saw that all over Europe in different pockets, that if it's possible in this way, then why is it not happening and replicated around?
Final question over here. By the way, the question you just said, maybe said if anyone in the room has an answer to that question, why is it so expensive? Maybe they can tell us, about that. Yeah, would be great, But final question over here, please.
Yes. Hello, my name is Martijn. During the 80s, I was working on the train with a minibar. I was selling coffee, tea, Coca-Cola, bread.
Amazing.
Especially a lot of stuff of my own, actually.
The real tender.
What?
Yeah. and then later, I worked on the Eurocity train as a waiter. I had like 7 diplomas, no school, so I had to go there. And there I sold my own sausages, because we didn't have like sausages or braadwoest on the menu. I have a lot of fun stories. But I did this until my 30th year, and then I jumped over into advertising, and I made a lot of big campaigns, and I really... okay, the question is, is there like, what train can you recommend? Because I miss my work, my past work. Is there trains with great restaurants you can recommend? Like the old-style restaurants. I don't want modern restaurants, but old-style restaurants.
Fancy, chic.
No, not chic. Like cheap, but like rough, like the good old restaurants.
Oh, the good old restaurants. Okay.
Yes,
okay.
mainly.
Who knows that? Yes. Please, yes.
Mainly in Eastern Europe, like the Hungaria that goes daily from Hamburg to Budapest directly, but also the Czech and the Czech, they are phased out, as I believe, but also the Polish trains still have fantastic restaurants, and maybe
I'd say Eastern Europe.
Yes,
definitely.
Definitely in Eastern Europe there are several countries where they're still running and where you can have freshly draft beer.
Yeah. So you are saying that we in West Europe we pay a lot, and we don't even have good restaurants.
No, and in fact, it's
you implied.
No, not even implied. I was very critical and upset about it because for the first 6 chapters of my book, I go from London to Istanbul overland, and only by the time I reached Sofia, I think, did I actually find a dining car.
Yeah.
Because they've just wiped them all out. Yeah. And because people get on at 7 p.m. mostly, they know that they don't have to worry about it because people eat and then come on board.
Oh, yeah. You can add something to this, yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to say Hungary is great because they cook live with real pans, like on board.
Amazing.
Yeah. In England, there's like a Pullman train. GWR has a service with like really good dining service. The Eurostar Business Premier is expensive. And maybe not in the train, but Le Train Bleu in Paris is really fun. Looking out over the tracks, seeing the train depart.
I love this, that you can share all this information with each other. And someone here says something about? No? Okay. I know that most people, most people in this program, I'm afraid I have to finish up this round, you know, because I just want to say most people are here, you know, they are not from, you know, Amsterdam. You know, I know a lot of people came here by train, so we have to be quite strict on time because they have to go back home again. Yes, by train, you know. Having said that, but can you stay with us, you know, if people want to ask you a question or exchange information afterwards, you know, at the bar? Yeah, is it possible? Yes, okay, so remember these faces. You can exchange with them. And as I said, his book you can buy. And the great book, you know, I just read it, it's great. And thank you so much being with us and
I don't have a book yet.
You don't have a book yet? Yeah. Okay, I like it. Thank you very much. You go to the room. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes. No, yeah, you go back to the room. Yes, thank you. Yeah. Een culinaire avonturier, a culinary adventurer, René Pluim, and he's also a TV chef and owned several restaurants. And I would like to have him here to tell us something about, you know, the European food. Yes, take that microphone, please. Yes. René, yes, so you had different TV programs, Pluim's Eetbare Wereld en Pluim Proef de Wereld. You reach culinary adventure. How do you become a culinary adventurer?
Yeah, that's a nice story, actually. I mean, I was dreaming of making television like 15 years ago, and my friends were laughing at me. You, René, with your bald head and your cross eye, you know, better start cooking and make money instead of being a host on television. I always believed in it. I always believed that one day I would make a lasagna with some Italian women or something like that. And yeah, so, you know, the process of having an idea, visualizing it and realizing it is one of the best things that can happen in the life of a human being, I think. And one day I was in Piemonte cooking risotto with...
Where is that?
Excuse me?
Piemonte?
Piemonte, Italy, yes. Piemonte, with 3 Italian women, like this, skirts with flowers, getaande gezichten, you know, brown skin, one tooth, you know. And they were cooking, they made me cook a risotto. And I will never forget, oh, here they are. You see, this is this woman here, she was like the boss of the 3. Yeah. And she told me how to make a risotto. And when we were making it, she said to me, this is how you make a risotto. And no difference, eh? Always make it like this. And always when I make a risotto now, I remember the eyes of this woman when I cook a risotto. But the thing is, I had to taste this risotto in the end. So I got a camera in my face. René, tell me what you think. And then ik schoot vol. How do you say this in English? I don't know. I started crying.
Thank you.
Because I realized I was in my dream. You know, and from this day on, my saying is first believe, then see. You know, so you have to believe in things and then you start seeing them instead of first seeing it and signing the contract and then start working. No, when you believe in something with your heart, it will happen for sure. Yeah. So, is that an answer to your question?
I'm afraid so. Yeah. In a way, yeah.
All right.
You know, when we ask to come in, you said, okay, you know, what kind of food, you know, would you like me to talk about, you know?
Yes.
And then eventually 2 kind of dishes you would like to tell us about. You know, Basque country and cucina povera.
La cucina povera. Well, since we started in Italy and Piemonte, I can continue. La cucina povera, the poor man's cuisine of Italy, is one of my favorite cuisines because I have a lot of respect for people that make a dish with 4 or 5 ingredients that make you cry. And this I'm talking a lot about crying today, but this literally happened to me once. I was host of a program that actually I did not really like so much. But I signed a contract, I had to do it, and it was very strongly directed. So it was like making, like acting all the time. And that's not my thing. You should never give me scripts or something. You should just let me go and do my thing. So after 3 weeks, I was completely broken, actually. And I took Numi, my girlfriend, for a ride in Tuscany, beautiful Tuscany. And I'm stopping somewhere, and in between the bush, I see some tables, you know, in the grass. I said, let's go here. So we go there, and I got a spaghetti with anchovies, deep fried breadcrumbs, and olive oil. That's it. And it made me cry. I went crying into the kitchen, grazie, 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 you know, because it's so good. It gives me goosebumps right now. We're thinking about it. It's so good when people make a dish with 4 or 5 ingredients that make you cry. It's really beautiful. And right now, something that's not on your list here, but it just pops into my mind. We're talking about train travel today, right? Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But
yeah, we do. Yes.
What I forgot to say before this thing is when I was presenting in Italy, once I had to travel by train. I just thought about it right now, and we were in a train station somewhere in Tuscany, and I open a door. And I see a whole restaurant full with people. You know, in Italy, they love food. During breakfast, they start talking about lunch. During lunch, they start talking about dinner, etc., etc. They love food. I love Italy. So I open this door. I see this restaurant completely full at the train station. Can you imagine? But at the bar, there was a bar also. There's this handsome guy, you know, black hair, like this. And he was carrying some bags with lingerie for his girlfriend, his wife, girlfriend, I don't know. He was sitting there.
We never know about
you
that.
never know.
You could not know.
Sipping a glass of wine, you know, sipping a glass of wine. And we ordered a steak. We get a steak, but the train is leaving, and it took long before the steak came. So we were eating and eating and eating, and then we, out of a corner, I hear, calma, calma, take it easy, you know. This guy, he was the conductor of the train. And he said to calma, calma, you know. Just eat your food, you know. And he just had the train waiting until we were finished eating. He took our bags, and then we were traveling with this train, you know. And a beautiful ride. In the end, we invited us in front of the cabin, you know. So we were just in between mountains, tuk 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 tuk, you know. This train, I will never forget this. And I had to tell. I'm sorry, man.
Oh, no problem. You should have seen.
I'm sorry, it's going to be a long
face. He was sitting like this. You know?
It's going to be a long night.
My
I'm sorry.
country.
I'm going to be.
Okay. So that was the poor man's kitchen.
Yes.
Let's say.
Yes.
How about the Basque?
The Basque country. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure that some people over here have been to the Basque country, right? I mean, San Sebastian, beautiful city.
Bilbao.
First of all, Bilbao. Yeah. First of all, the people are beautiful. The landscape in the Basque country is fantastic, and of course, the food is tremendous. First of all, in San Sebastian, you have the biggest amount of Michelin-starred restaurants, like 16 stars in one city, you know, like 10 kilometers diameter, you know, incredible. One of my big heroes, if there is a god, I think it's Martin Berasategui. I don't know if anybody knows him. He is a three Michelin-star this is the guy. Three-star Michelin restaurant. I'm taking 5 guys with me, 5 cooks with me to surprise them. So we were just in our jeans and t-shirts. We go into this beautiful restaurant. We sit down and we get a 16-course menu. After the 5th course, we sort of choked, like it's so good. You know, what makes this guy God to me is that even though he is like a high-ranked Michelin-starred cuisinier, you know, but he's not the guy that fiddles around with pincettes and stuff. He keeps track of his own heritage, of the Basque country. He uses Basque ingredients, and it's really, when you put something in your mouth, it's like boom in your mouth. So after five courses, we were like, whoa, suicidal. If we have to die, let's do it now after this dinner, you know. So, but the next day, the next day, we go into some kind of herberg, like a restaurant in the mountains somewhere, you know. And there's this woman behind the bar, you know, with a moustache, of course. And the television is with football on a high volume. You sit down, you get pock, a glass, a bottle of white, bottle of red, without asking, on the table. And she says, sit down over there. I walk into the kitchen, because I always walk into a kitchen if I'm somewhere. And there's this chef, you know, with a cigarette. Puts it on the stove. Yeah, a big fire here, and there's half a cow hanging here. Yeah. And so just give us 5 pieces, please. So he just gets this piece of meat, put it on the table, cuts it, sea salt on it, and roast it. You know, it was fantastic. What I'm trying to tell you is that the experience that you have in a restaurant, it can be the same, whether you're on this top level, or whether you're in like a shack or in the Basque country. Cool. It's fantastic. And I should also mention the pinchos bars in the center of San Sebastian. The Spanish word pinchar means to puncture. So it's all, if you go into a bar there, it's like 10 meters of food. It's all bread with haute cuisine on top, with a stick in it. And you just pick one, or you point one. And in the end, you save your sticks, and you say, okay, I had 3, and they all have the same price, and you pay, and you go. And in the Basque country, sorry, wait.
I'm not the Italian conductor,
okay.
no. I'm not
okay. Okay. Okay, no.
Okay,
all right.
René.
yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing this story.
No problem.
By the way, the same question for you. Are you willing and able to stay with us after the program, so if people can approach
you?
With
my pleasure.
Thank you so much, René.
Okay, thank you.
Give me the microphone, please. Thank you. Okay, we still have one final part of the quiz to go on. So the telephones, please, the telephones. And again, go to Menti, because it's a new round. So you have to go menti.com. Yes, go to the menti.com. So we'll wait for you for the next 9 questions. And again, question. Kunnen we... even kijken, zijn jullie ingelogd? Are you logged in? No? Oh ja. Oké. Oké, we gaan aan de zijkant staan. Ja. Ga je mee hier staan? Dan heb je beter zicht op het podium. Ja. Okay, are there any people who are not logged in? So everybody's, just one person over there. So maybe you can share with people next to you, please. Okay, we are going to start. 3, 2, 1. Yes, go.
All right. Right. Question number 10. What is the highest railway bridge in Europe? Or where is the highest railway bridge in Europe? Is it France, Austria, Montenegro, or Romania?
One second. Good question. Good answer, Manisha? Yeah.
Well done.
Okay.
Question number 11. Where can we find the oldest bakery in the world?
What? In the world?
Is it in Graz in Austria? Is it in Paris? Is it in Munich? Or in Rome?
What? Okay.
It's in Graz.
Yeah.
Question number 12. So where can we find the oldest pulp in the world, according to the Guinness World Book of Records? Is it Graz, Kailov, Loghals, Athlone in Ireland, or Pilsen in Czech Republic?
Ik ga voor Pilsen. No!
The Irish pub. The good old Irish pub. Next question. Which country has the most night train services in Europe? Is it gonna be Italy, Romania, Germany, or Austria?
The professionals over there, they said Austria. What? Oh
It's
my
the
God.
Romanians.
Carlo, Manisha. You are a professional. Okay.
It's the Romanians.
Yeah. Okay, we go on.
Number 14, what is the largest wine region in France? The largest wine region in France. So is it Bordeaux, is it Champagne, is it Languedoc-Roussillon, or is it Vallée du Rhône?
So, Niale, you were good. So, the Belgian, yes, you were good.
It's Languedoc. So, question number 15. Dine-in cars and night trains are great for meeting people, yet a combination of the two is hard to find nowadays. On which route can we still find this? What's wrong?
We zien alleen maar 3 opties.
Well done. Well done.
Oké. Oké. Dit was een rare vraag. Oké.
All right. Number 16.
Almost there.
What is a typically complimentary breakfast on board night trains in Central and Eastern Europe? Is it the 7 days croissant? Is it an apple? Is it sparkling water, or is it the hero between?
You know that.
Well, I went for the 7-day croissant. Yeah.
Oh, you went for the
7 days.
7-day croissant, Manisha. So you're right, yes.
Who's ever eaten a 7 days croissant? Who's ever eaten one?
Okay.
Question number 17. By connecting with locals, travelers help build a better world. Which of the following best describes one of these positive outcomes?
Yes.
Well done.
Well done.
Yeah.
Final question.
On to the final question. Question number 18. Studies show that meaningful travel experiences are most often linked to luxury and comfort, unexpected encounters and human connection, precise planning and tight itineraries, or visiting the most famous tourist sites.
Luxury and comfort, I guess. Yeah. No?
For you, maybe.
Okay, unexpected. Okay.
All right. That was the
Come on.
quiz.
Yes. Now wait for the winner or winners. David. Come here. Yes. In the middle, David. Yes. Come here, okay. Okay, the same question for you. How come you know so much about European traveling, you know?
Well, certainly not because I drink so much wine, because I had actually absolutely no idea about that. But I graduated last year and celebrated after saving up for years by doing a 3-month Interrail trip. seeing places from the south of Spain to the north of Sweden. And yeah, plenty of experiences there.
And David, where are you from and where are you based now? Where do you live now?
I'm from the Netherlands, from Apeldoorn. Live there now as well. So yeah.
Cool. Good. Okay, so you have to go to Isa, afterwards she will tell you about your past.
Her name is Pia, actually, but it's
Pia.
fine.
Oh, okay. Pia, Isa. Okay, Pia. Excuse me. Excuse me. Please forgive me. Yeah. Thank you so much. Congratulations. Okay. Dankjewel. Thank you so much for your quiz. It was just very interesting and very difficult. Thank you. The microphone here. Dankjewel, Hugo. Okay. We still have one more pass to give away. Yes, one more pass. So, this is a difficult one, because I know some people, really they came from, of course, she came from Mechelen, but she's not allowed to participate in this part, So, or from United Kingdom. So, the other people who are not related to this program, so think about, where are you coming from? And from people coming from the farthest, het verste plek, naar Amsterdam, to Amsterdam, they get a pass. So, if you are, let's say, from Maastricht, from Groningen, okay, so over there. So wait a minute. So we can see, and I'm looking at the people directly, so they can see, they can calculate whether they, which one has won. So where are you from? Groningen. Please stand up, Groningen. How are you? What? Where? Breda. And so you are in Breda, Groningen? Roosendaal. Okay, yeah. Over there? Where? Bulgaria? You came special for this program from Bulgaria? Oh my God, I love it. Yeah. Of course, from United States. You came special for this program from United States? Someone else? No? Okay. Over there. Colombia. Oh, okay. I'm afraid that the guy from Colombia has won the prize, Thank you so much for coming to us. Okay. So, you go to Pia for your prize. So, finally, as I said, we are making, what? Mauritius? Yeah. Oh, okay. Now we have two people, Colombia and Mauritius. I guess Colombia will win. Yeah. Colombia. We are talking about at least 11,000, 12,000 kilometers. Yeah. Where? Arnhem? South Africa. Oh my God. You just made that up. You just wait. I don't know. Okay, Colombia still. Okay, as I said, it's in collaboration with people from Interrail, thank you so much for a lot of people, You see one of them over there, but she's with a lot of other people, to make this program possible. And the people from Pakhuis de Zwijger as well, the people from the technical, professionals over there, and especially Sebastian Henning, the program editor from Pakhuis de Zwijger. Thank you so much for making this possible. We started off with Carlo, the CEO, and you saw Renee, and of course our beautiful panel. And while we were talking, they were talking. I made some notes, and I guess the most beautiful one was probably from the youngest panel members of panel. When she said, "Don't limit yourself." Thank you so much for sharing your story with us. And go in peace. Go in peace, all of you. Thank you. Het zit erop.